All right, here we are, gang. We're at the happy hour at the spiritual neighborhood at the Crystal Clear Point Studios. Why do we call it Crystal Clear Point? Because I like crystals and I like to be clear. And I have a point that I like to make. Sometimes I even get to it. So that's why. And we have Laura's light back with us, Laura Flowers. That's kind of funny. You're light and flowers, or are you flower and light?
I'm both.
Okay, I love that. So if we seem a little goofy already, it's because we are. We've been talking about the heavy moon energy and me just being nuts. And Luann was sick this weekend. So we've
Oh.
I think we're all just hung over on Monday.
So it's a Monday. It's just a Monday.
And since it's happy hour, cheers everyone. I'm having my cinnamon
Cheers to you.
tea with no alcohol today. I'm actually funnier when I don't drink. So we
Okay,
have
so I
I was
I,
just gonna say
I
we
will
have
say that
Luann
I
Morris.
do have alcohol in mine. So
Um,
just FYI.
I'll mute you if you get bad. Don't be a bad
Okay,
boy. Don't be a
I'll
bad.
try not to be.
So we have Luann Morris, we had Matthew Pierce, we have Laura Flowers, and we have me, Deborah Rose. So Laura came back. I just find her fascinating. I'm so glad she came back. And we've already had about a 40-minute show that y'all missed. We all logged in early and we just went to it. Maybe we
We
should have just,
sang.
yeah, we sang, we did all kinds of stuff. So what are we talking about today? Somebody help me here.
Well, Laura and I were talking, kind of offline and kind of previous to this, and we do the Dallas Psychic Fair together, and we've had experiences that, with even with other psychics and other people that are talented about, kind of coming to us and asking us, well, how do you know? How do you know that you're gifted? How do you know that you have a certain talent or, whatever else? And or how do I trust the intuition that I'm getting? So it's like we have these questions coming to us all the time, and I just thought it would be nice to take a moment, to get everybody's perspective on, well, what does that mean? Do we all have talents, or are we special with those talents? I mean, I kind of have a belief about that, but I'd want to hear kind of what everybody else is thinking. But I think that we're in that time right now. The people are discovering that there's more to themselves than what they've actually realized. You know, that they're coming up with this awareness that hasn't been there before, and it's raising a lot of questions for a lot of people. So that's kind of what I thought we would talk about today.
I have a theory. And I have never said it out loud, so I'll have to work through this. You may have to help me. I think that we're all born as spirit, okay, crammed into this flesh. I think that because we come into a very harsh world for the most part, either physically or emotionally, that most people spend their lives trying to stay alive and to make their physical body comfortable because that's the easiest thing to focus on. And we forget that we're spirit. And so it's not that we're not talented and it's not that we don't have these talents or gifts to develop or whatever. It's just that we don't pay any attention to them. It's kind of like the blind men all touching the elephant, and you only know the part of the elephant that you're exposed to because that's your area that you're living in. And um and I think that's the way it's been across the generations. Some people were able to be more focused on the spiritual in integrating that into their lives, and everybody else was out there trying to keep from eating mud, and trying to nourish themselves. That's my thought.
I totally agree. I'll even take it a step further and say, from a nurse's perspective, that our bodies are giant antennas, where we get signals and messages all the time. But because of the way that we're raised and higher priorities or things going on in our lives, we may not recognize those messages and signals as well. But our bodies, they're antennas. We're receiving information. We were made to receive information. We're giving information through our bodies, and so we just tune it out. Yes,
And
little
I think
antennas.
once we realize it, Then another thing kicks in where you have to learn to trust it and just say it.
That is so profound.
That's true.
That's so profound. That is very true.
We have
Very
to not give a shit what other people think. We're so afraid of what people think or they think we're crazy. But I had a huge epiphany a couple of years ago with my Bible mentor, and he's always been one of my big cheerleaders about living my gifts and how strong they are compared to most people. And I don't think they're stronger. I just think that I'm crazy and don't care what people think. So, but he says, that's normal for you. And so it doesn't seem like a big deal to you because I haven't thought of myself as gifted. Every time I talk to someone, I find out a little bit more about myself when they share, well, and Laura and I were talking about this before we started about what's that word again, Laura?
clairaudience.
Yes, I don't know why I have a problem with that.
Clairaudience.
I had no idea I was clairaudience. So all you people that get on my ass about not liking Broadway musicals, there's a damn reason for it. And I am validated by Laura, and I will send you her way if you give me more shit.
Yeah. So, yes, because messages, they come in through our bodies, they come in through our senses. So, clairaudience is hearing. That's strongly associated with music. It's actually sometimes it's confused with your inner thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's thoughts in your heads or words that pop in. You have clairvoyance, which is mental images. You're visualizing things. You're seeing things. Clairaugustance is taste. You have a taste in your mouth. It can be a metaphor.
Ooh, oh, that's a big one.
Clairalience smells. The most underrated gift is clairalience. It tells you so much smell, a smell when other people may not smell it. Clairsentience is being able to just have a feeling, a gut feeling, a feeling, or actually feeling something in your body. And then there's claircognizance. Claircognizance doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but basically it's just a knowing. You know, you don't know how you just know. So those are all the ways messages come in.
I like that one the best because when people go, well, how do you know? I'm like, I just know. Don't question me. Don't question. But you know what? I never heard the one about taste until a couple of years ago. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is that when I was a kid, I used to eat sand. Used to they would take pure sand, this white sand to mix in for making concrete, and we were doing a lot of house building and stuff. And I would get this taste in my mouth, and nothing would make it go away. And I could put that sand in my mouth, and it would get rid of it. And then later on, when the house was finished, I would get that taste again, and it would drive me insane. And cigarette ashes would get rid of that taste.
Wow.
And and I can distinctly remember that taste, and it wasn't bad. It was just it was it was nerve-wracking. It was absolutely nerve-wracking. And I did have someone tell me before that they thought that I probably had that reaction because I have a past life where I've been poisoned or something, and that didn't really resonate with me. But you know, eventually that went away, and but I still get it occasionally.
So when you get a message that comes into your body, one of the first things I do is you have to stop and think, what am I thinking, doing, and feeling? What is going on at this moment when I'm getting the taste? And that will give you clues to what message is trying to be communicated. You have to just stop. And then you're going to have to do something that I absolutely hate to do is you're going to have to keep a log and write it down.
Yeah, I hate doing that too. But can you imagine what the adults in my life thought every time they caught me eating cigarette ash? There's no telling what they thought. They thought it wasn't good, I can tell you that.
I tell the same thing to people when they start talking about their intuition. I said, sometimes it can feel good, sometimes it can feel bad, or maybe you get a certain feeling like in your heart area or in your stomach area. So what happens next? Is that intuition telling you about a good thing or a bad thing. And I would suggest to them that if they'll record it, and I know that's, nobody wants to do that, but if they will record those instances, then they'll know if that feeling across their
Mhm.
heart is a good omen or a bad omen for them, an intuition that they need to listen to.
Well, and you don't have
So
to
I
tell
kind of
everything you know.
no, but I do want to say this because I want to kind of add on to Laura's kind of antenna, you know, story, or I mean, her analogy of that being an antenna. When I was in school, one of the classes that I took was called the perfect design. Okay, and that we look at humanity or our existence on this plane as, well, kind of like what Deborah was saying. We're born as spirit, okay? But the perfect design is that we're anchored to this reality through
Our body.
this right
Our
here.
bodies.
With everything that, we're clear audience and clear sentient and everything else like that, the way that we experience spirit, or the way that we experience the energy, is that this right here, okay, is the physical receiver. The spirit is the interpretation of what that is, or whatever that experience is. A lot of times there's things that can get in the way of that experience, from the standpoint of, like, maybe you were raised as a staunch Catholic, and some of this stuff you just don't touch. I was raised as Pentecostal. You don't talk to spirits. You allow spirit to talk through you, but you don't talk to spirits. And so there's that physical barrier that comes up inside of the brain, the little monkey mind, okay, that doesn't allow people to experience the spiritual aspects that are perfect. And so I really like the antenna, analogy, because we're all experiencing things on a duality. Like, this is bringing things into us, but then we have to allow it to go into our spirit in order to have the appropriate interpretation. We might smell something that is completely and totally foreign to the brain, and the brain goes, what was that? But then all of a sudden, it's like, I smell cookies. I smell specific cookies. I smell snickerdoodles. And the person sitting in front of us was like, oh my God, that's my grandmother. My
Right.
grandmother used to make snickerdoodles all the time. Okay. So maybe, it's just perfect design. It's just perfect design. And when we start tapping into all of the enses, clear audience and clear sentient and all this other stuff, it's that marriage of spirit and this anchor.
But
Perfect.
sometimes the marriage gets polyamorous, for lack of a better word. I had a horrible experience a couple months ago. I was having dinner with my Bible mentor, and a spirit came in. And I don't know what it is about his and mine relationship, but every time I'm with him, I get so much information and so many downloads. And the spirit was telling me, this will be the last time you see him. This is going to be the last time you get to see him. This is the last time you're going to see him. He's going to be gone. He's moving away. And it just kept on, and it just kept on. And immediately I realized I was talking out loud. I'm going, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, shut up, fuck you, because I was getting really upset. And he leans over the table, he goes, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm about to get mad. If you say fuck you one more time, I'm going to be really mad. And I all of a sudden went, oh my God, I'm in public. I'm in a bar. I'm with one of the people I love the most in this world outside of my family. And I just said, I'm not talking to you. And here's the point of the story. The minute I said that, he knew what was going on and he accepted it. And so it's nice when people accept you on the terms of that they understand you're more than your physical body. And whether they understand it or whether they can even relate to it, they at least accept that your reality may not look like their reality.
Mm.
So I'm just going to point out one more thing on your deal. The
Oh,
fact that you're
Jesus.
verbalizing some of the things that are the words that are coming in, that's part of your clairaudience. So for those of you out there that find yourself talking to yourself or saying words out loud that come in, that's part of your claircognizance and clairaudience. That is part of the message.
Okay, now, Laura, you're not going to take me and tie me to a chair and start doing experiments on me, are you?
No, no. But listen, you had a very good, I want to bring up something you said because you talked about how this is the last time you're going to see him and that he's moving away, and that's a very long message. I want
It
to put
is
it out
true.
there
It's a true
to
message. He
people
is. I didn't know
that
it at the time.
our messages come in short and then we interpret them. So I don't want anybody to get an idea of like, well, I don't get a long message like that coming
Right.
in. No, no, no.
Yeah.
They're short, they're very direct. It's turn left. This is the last time.
Hmm.
One more step. They're very short, direct, and calm messages
Hmm.
when they come in. But we're so used to them and we learn how to interpret and give the message so that we add to it. Okay, this, you know what I'm saying, because we're experienced. We're, with our intuition. But those that are new, you will learn what's being communicated and you'll be able to give out that long message. But initially, really, the messages come in short and direct and quick. They're out of the blue. Out
Well,
of
let
the
me let me take it up a notch. And this is where I always get cattywampus with a lot of the community. Okay. And I get cattywampus with my Christian people too. So I'm just used to being cattywampus. All right. I do believe that we're supposed to discern spirits. Just like there are good spirits, there's spirits out there that don't love us. Okay, because if they come from a human base or whatever you believe, sometimes there are spirits that don't have our best interests at heart. And my theory is, because I have no way to prove it, but my theory, in my personal experience, is that the more detailed the experience, the more that spirit is not really interested in my best interest. Like this one gave
Mhm.
me very specific details, Laura. They're all true. Every single one of them is true. And it did not have my best interests at heart, which is why I was going, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Okay. Because I just I got I got caught off guard. Otherwise, I would have done that a little bit differently. And so I tell people to be careful based upon their belief system, okay? Because it has to be congruent with their belief system, unless they're open to expanding that system. To be careful where they're getting at their information and then what they do with that information, because you have a responsibility with that information. Does that make sense? I'm trying to dance around this issue, but still be clear. Okay.
Well, I have an opinion on that, and the reason I'm saying that I have an opinion on it is because some people do this, some people don't. It comes from a background, but I actually think that the case that you're talking about, yes, it probably was an energy coming through and saying that, but the disagreement was inside of the emotional response that you were having with that experience. A spirit was trying to tell you something, and it was trying to tell you something very, very poignant, but at that very moment, you were not willing to accept it for what it was.
I
So,
get
no,
where
he's not leaving. He's not going. Okay,
No,
fine,
that's
he's
not
going,
what
but
I
I
was
don't like it.
upset about. Okay, I opened the can of worms, so I'm gonna have to go out. No, it was telling me that I was going to be alone again and nobody was going to love me because I was losing another loved one. And see, I've had a lot of death the past 15 years, and I've lost a lot of loved ones, and which has created a void in my life, and so it was being cruel. Its message was very cruel. Here's one more person you're losing, and you're going to be alone again, and you're going to lose.
Like it was your fault?
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
so
But
that's
that's much more clear. I mean, that when you explain it that way, it's much more clear.
yeah, but I didn't want to
And
go
so it gives
there.
you a better picture.
I didn't
but,
And
want to
that's
go
not a can
there.
of worms. I mean, I've been
but
there.
You know,
yes. And not all the time is that message a bad message. Being alone
Hmm.
is not bad. But your experience caused that interpretation. Your shadow, your whole being that's immediately going to evoke emotions into your body because of what you've been through.
It was an ugly
If-
voice. It was very cruel. It was attacking me. And I don't I'm very callous. Let me just be blunt. I'm very callous. I'll call away and go, somebody said this to me. Were they being mean to me? Should I be upset? I'm kind of I'm kind of socially inept. Just to be blunt, and a lot of things that bug people, I'm like, I don't care. I don't get it. But this was deliberately being cruel to me. And it was meant to be cruel. I'm not that obtuse.
So I've also have gotten presentations or messages that were inappropriate. I'm just going to call them inappropriate.
That's a good word. I like that.
And so what I've done with that is I have learned the difference between spirit and whether it's my own shadow, my own stuff I've been through, whether it's energy that's inappropriate energy, it doesn't matter. As long as I can recognize it and say, nope, you're not welcome here, and put up my boundary for it. And that's the main thing. Um, I have lots of friends who, I say lots of friends. Well, I have lots of friends, but um, I have some friends who are nervous about opening up their intuition because they're afraid of what they'll be told.
Mhm.
People are
Mhm.
scared. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And that's fine. If you're not ready, that's fine. But there's nothing to be fearful of. You're more powerful than anything. And it's just messages.
Mhm.
It is just a message. You are still in power. You are still in control. And so I just want to throw that out there to anybody who's listening, who's worried about that. You're in power.
See,
You're
I totally
awesome.
agree with you on this. So for if anybody's actually listening or watching this, let me just clarify this.
Oh, they
Laura and
are.
I agree with all of the principles, but she has a different language for it than I do because I'm very much Christian based. So I use the words I'm comfortable with. I'm comfortable with angels. I'm comfortable with the word demon. I'm comfortable with the word light. I'm comfortable with the word dark. I'm comfortable with something that might want to hurt me. And the reason I believe it might want to hurt me is because I'm doing something that God wants me to do, and it makes them happy to pull me away from that focus. That's what I believe, whether you believe it or not. But Laura just supported there's light and there's dark and you're in control. And we are in control because even as Christians, even though God is omnipotent, we are in control because we get to accept and make choices. God doesn't cram us down our throat. He doesn't make us do this. He doesn't go around following us with the whip like he did in the temple. I do love that story, though, the whip in the temple. I do love that story. There's a reason for that, but you know, Matthew knows what it is. So it's the same ideas with different foundations, I guess is the best way. So we're not doing anything to hurt any belief system, is my point. This is congruent with
This is a human body system.
yeah,
A spiritual
I
system.
love that. This is the human body system on how to integrate our holistic being, our mind, body, and spirit,
Mhm.
regardless of what you believe is the foundation of that.
Yeah, it's
I'm
the
gonna
perfect
pass the
design.
plate now. I expect a donation because I'm a
Yeah,
I
well, it's the perfect design. I mean, that's the point I want to make. It's like your experience here on this existence, you are a physical body, okay? You are an energetic being. You have spirit. You have all of that. But then you also have this intellect, this other energy that is like saying good, bad, whatever else like that.
Judgmental.
And it is a choice. Okay. I mean, I think everything in energetic terms. I'd say everything is energy. If you want to say angel and that's a good energy for you, awesome. Okay. If you want to say demon, that's a bad energy for you, awesome. Okay. I think of it like this: electricity is electricity, no matter what. If you're taking it and licking your fingers and sticking it in the socket and getting a shock out of it, or plugging in a lamp and having something to read by, same energy,
exactly,
different experience.
exactly. And I could call the good stuff Scott and the bad stuff Richard because that's my ex-husband, and it would mean the same. I hope he's not watching this.
I hope he is.
Yeah, dadgummit, Richard, your bill collectors are calling me. Take care of your business.
I had an experience that I didn't understand. I received it like almost like a shock to my body, and I heard at the same time, your father's going to die.
Mm,
So I
mm.
heard this all at the same time, and I was like, what? And he had just left out the door, so I ran after him. Well, I talked to him a minute, and he had no idea what I was talking about. And so I said, okay, no, it's all right. So I didn't understand why I was receiving that message. There wasn't a thing I could do about it. And he did die that night, but I, so it's like I
But it
felt like
prepared you.
I was
It
felt like I
taught
was
you.
informed. Someone was trying to inform me so I wouldn't be totally caught off guard.
Now, see,
I
I
had
don't
just
like that. I get messages like that all the time, dadgummit. And I know when people in my family are going to die, and I know when my friends are going to die. And I think a lot of my friends know that, so they'll call me when they're sick and go, "Am I okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're fine." And and I don't, that's the end of the discussion. But I don't see the point in knowing that. It doesn't make it any different for me, you know? And
I think Spirit was trying to give me a warning in advance because I didn't have any warning when my mother died 2 years earlier.
well, see, and
And,
I can
you know,
appreciate that for you, but I don't get it for me. And I have said several times, God, I don't want those messages anymore. And I still get them. So either I'm not doing what I need to be doing with this information or something. You know what I'm saying? But I would like for them to quit.
Listen, I know we're on a subject, but I know we get good information too.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
absolutely.
do. People that are out there that are thinking about exploring their intuition, it's just information,
Hmm.
and
well,
it's just
I
information
don't
to help
think it was
guide us.
meant to be
I,
negative or
no, I think it was meant to help you. I
yes.
think all of our intuition is for us to either learn something or to help us navigate through life. And I think absolutely 100% your message came in because of your experience and you needed time to wrap your heart and your mind around the concept instead of going through what you'd been through with your mother.
Right. I agree with you on that. I think that's I just I it's frustrating just in general. Don't do you ever get information that you don't know what to do with it? That's my point. Sometimes I just don't know what to do with the information. And I'm like, can we get a little clarity here? Or can we get like, some instruction pamphlets, downloaded as well, or, some further instruction or something. So yeah, sometimes I feel like I missed it somewhere.
Welcome to the human condition.
So
So have you
it's
ever
funny that you would say that because I always think that the universe or spirit puts in place those people that we need to have that instruction. Okay. I really believe that Luann, that Deborah and you have this connection because there are times that you need that guidance. Okay.
Mhm.
But likewise, Luann, I also see that there are times that Deborah needs that calming factor of you being able to kind of like give you something, a little bit. Have you thought about this? Or, it's like,
I'm calm.
that's
What the
something to think
fuck,
about.
Matthew? I'm calm. Damn it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
But I mean, I really believe that Spirit did the same thing with me and Laura. We didn't know each other when we met, like at the Houston Fair. We did not know each other. But all of a sudden it was just this all of a sudden this talk and we all of a sudden just started vibing together. I remember one time that she heard me say something in a reading and she just kind of gave me this look and it was like, oh my God, you're absolutely right.
Oh, wow.
It was like telepathy and I was just like, that's exactly what I needed. And I felt bad one time because she was doing a reading and something just popped out of my mouth about teaching the son about how to treat women and it was just like boom and she was like thank you I didn't know how to say that
I love the way Matthew
so I
treated
think
his mother when he was growing up. He's shared that
I love
stories,
I
you know.
love it.
Okay, we have to go here. So put on your hats, whatever you have to do, strap on your boots. We're going to go here, all right? Because I think Laura's the perfect person for the foursome on this. So, Laura, all three of us, we have our gifts and we share them as a form of entertainment as well. We work at parties and events. This is what brought us all kind of together initially, I think, kind of, sort of, maybe. And so we hear, or at least I do, I think the two of you have heard this too, where, oh, I went to a psychic and I'm kind of afraid to talk to you because the psychic told me something awful. And I take such issue when I hear those stories because it goes back to what I said earlier. Just because you know something doesn't mean you need to be telling people about it. And don't you think that there is an ethics or an accountability or something that goes with our gifts to know when and where to say things and to share things? I mean, I literally just last week had a woman tell me this horrible story where she was at a Valentine party 5 years ago, and the person there told her that her husband was going to die. Now, what the hell?
So, ethics, everybody, I'm going to say something that's all right. So,
I love it when she says that.
all right. So, everybody's on their freaking journey. Okay. Everybody is being taught by spirit, by God, by source. We're being taught how to navigate, how to understand these messages, what to do with them. Everybody's on their journey. And there's going to be points in your journey where you're going to learn by fucking up. So you will mess up, and that's how you're going to grow and learn. And these psychics are maybe in a space in their life where the esteem is so low and they're navigating through some tough waters, and they're doing some things that ethically we wouldn't do at our stage of the game. But at my stage, in my early stage, I did some dumb moves. I did some dumb moves, but it taught me. So I can't fix someone else's journey. All I can do is focus on mine. And it's a shame that somebody said, "Hey, your husband's going to die," years ago. That's an awful thing to tell somebody. I don't understand the message for it, but hopefully they got some growth out of it. And you can now be the face to explain to them how messages should come across instead of like what that's.
I think you are probably one of the most gracious, kind, passionate people I have ever met.
Well, it's because I fucked up a lot.
Oh, I should be great then. I should be a
No.
wonderful person.
Yes. So the fact that I've messed up and had to stumble through in the dark and learn, especially in a environment where wasn't allowed to express what I was experiencing, I didn't have a mentor or guide. I had to be taught by spirit. And so I made a lot of mistakes. And so that's kind of why I get passionate about people understanding their intuition, because these mistakes that took me a long time to learn are easy things to learn. And they're easy things. And so that's kind of where my passion is I have compassion for myself. And I was there doing some, you know,
No, I get it. I do. I get it. I guess, I have dealt with so much of the dark side of life in my career because, being a private investigator, I spent years hearing nothing but people's problems. And then being in the mental health industry, I spent years hearing people's grief, literally grief and disappointment. And so I'm so passionate about being able to help people to join with something. I call it God, whatever they want to call him or her or it or whatever, them, and to know that they're not alone and there's something bigger than them out there. That it just frustrates me when I hear these sidetracks going off in this way and that way and causing more grief for the people around them.
and sometimes sidetracks in our life are space fillers. They're just space fillers until till we're ready for the next step. And yeah, that was a detrimental space filler. I mean,
Oh,
you
geez.
know, that's true. But sometimes these little detours are because we're not even ready yet anyway. And she may not have been ready, and this is where she needed to work through some of her own fears and her own things to get ready to meet with you and be ready for the next step.
Well, actually, I had not thought of it that way. I have to be honest. And because the comment in the conversation that supports what you just said was that, I never would have thought that we could have had the kind of conversation that we had here in 5 minutes. And
Mhm.
and she goes, you've given me a lot to think about and you've changed my perspective.
She was
So
ready.
yeah. So, bad experience to a more positive experience. And maybe she wouldn't even have thought twice to come talk to me if she hadn't had that bad experience. I don't know. It-
Right.
It's not my
Right.
job to know that. So I don't care.
It isn't. We're mailmen. Our job is to
Um,
put the package in the mailbox. We don't stand there and wait and see if they open it up or how they took it or what the letter said to them or if they read it right. Our job is to put the package in the mailbox
So
I love that.
have you ever had spirit catch you off guard?
all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes, all the time.
I had
So
a full-on
intuition.
conversation with the spirit that came in. His daughter was sitting in front of me, and I was just so surprised by his anger and what he wanted me to tell his daughter. And I was saying, "Look," out loud. I said, "Look, you need to back off." And her eyes got about that big, and I went, "I'm sorry, your father's very angry."
So I function in the real world as a nurse, and then I function in my spiritual world as, I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I'm a psychic medium teacher. Um, so I have get caught off guard all the time at work all the time. But I've been caught off guard for years. I just never recognized it. So
Yeah.
I get caught off guard. I have learned. So I one of my, people I work with said, "You have a poker face. You have a poker face." Um, and it's just evolved from my experiences. So yeah, I get caught off guard. Sometimes I get caught off guard in a selfish way. The energy is so nice and so beautiful
Yes.
that I just kind of I'll go sit in it. And I'll be like, "Ooh, I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm not supposed to be doing that." But sometimes it's catches me off guard, and I'm a little bit selfish, and that I'll go sit in it, and on the guise of here, I'm communicating and helping this person, but actually, I'm surprising how much I enjoyed it. One time somebody handed me their ring. I just asked them, "Hey, is that James Avery?" And they said, "No, and they put it in my hand. Caught off guard. Caught off guard. The
That's
flood
how
of
I got this
information.
ring. I
Yeah.
Same thing happened to me, and the woman gave it to me. She goes, "This is supposed to be yours now." And I have worn it every day for 8 years.
That is an amazing story. And let me tell you, when you get information through your hands, that is a very real thing.
Hmm.
That is a real
Mhm.
thing. That is called clairtangency. Clairtangency is when you touch something and you gain information.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So for those that may be experiencing stuff with their hands, very real.
But do you ever get more than one Claire at a time?
Yes.
Yes.
I love that, Luann, you are so smart. I love that you brought that up because they travel in pairs. You never, so I'll get a smell and then a knowing, or I'll
Hmm.
get a taste in my mouth and then it'll pop a picture, or I'll get a picture in it and then all of a sudden I can smell something. Usually one is stronger than the other, but they travel together. So when you do get that intuitive hit, look at all the little pieces. Are you getting a smell? Are you feeling something? Are you hearing something? Get all the little pieces and notice that because they do, they travel together.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just got a knowing about taste. I know why I used to get those tastes.
Oh, awesome.
Mm.
Share.
It's a little freaky because it goes against my whole belief system.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I
This is
don't.
this is gonna prove a point of mine.
Oh, okay. So, all right, I have to give you a little bit of a backstory. I'll try to keep it very short. So, we had a German beer stein in my house when I was a kid, and it used to go move around the house. And sometimes there would be a ring of beer under the beer stein, and sometimes it would be laying on its side. And generally, when things like that would happen, I would get that taste going on too in that same time period. I can remember all that happening in the same time. No, I'm not saying it was the same day, but it seems like they all kind of ran together. And when you said that, I immediately got the picture of that beer stein. I immediately got the taste. I
Mm,
immediately got the idea of eating those ashes. And then I saw the camp in Germany.
yeah, um,
Wow. Wow.
I'm shaking right now. I'm literally shaking.
So you illustrated one of I've got like 5 points
Ah,
of how you can tell if it's your intuition, and you just illustrated pretty much all of them.
thank you very much.
mhm.
Okay. Number one, it's sudden, it pops in. You
Ah,
weren't wondering and thinking. You had asked, hey, what's going on with the ashes? But it popped in. Number two, it was calm. It was just,
It's
here's an
there.
image. Here's a
Here it is.
here it is. Number three, it was direct and short. It didn't overwhelm you with lots of information. It was just, here's the stein, here's a picture, here's the taste, here's the camp, and a knowing, and done. So it's direct, short, and it's calm. Number four, you can usually feel it in your body.
mm.
You just so happen to get a taste, but you could feel it in your body when your intuition. Intuition literally has a feel or a taste to it. And once you start recognizing it, then you'll get that. And then number five, it doesn't make sense. The first thing you said is, you're going to think I'm crazy, because it's a little bit uncomfortable because it's information that comes in that doesn't have a thought trail, that doesn't have our logic where we can go, here, I can prove it. No, number five, it usually comes in and it doesn't make sense. Makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah,
A little
goodbye. I gotta go
uncomfortable.
now. No. Damn. Oh, talk about feeling vulnerable right now. Extremely vulnerable, extremely exposed.
I think I think spirit's using you.
Mm,
Well, I think that spirit is put all of us at the perfect place at the perfect time because there's someone obviously out there that is watching this that is going to have a similar experience. That they're going to go, wait a second, why did I get that? Or why did that happen? And you just demonstrated how it works. Like, here's a real world example for you. How can you not see this? You know, there's been people out there that I've had people tell me it was like, yeah, I had that happen to me, but I just explained it away.
Yes.
now,
Yes.
Laura, you said you were not going to be doing experiments on me. What the hell happened?
You asked
No.
earlier. You asked earlier, and all of a sudden, Spirit said, okay, here you go.
Here you go. We're going to use you as a demo of how intuition comes in. So
Whoops.
now it comes in emotionless.
Stop it.
You may feel it in your body. You may feel chills, or you feel something in the pit of your stomach, or you feel something across your heart, or you may feel it in your body. But really, the message comes in emotionless. Then, then we transcribe it, and we get the emotion.
Well, I can feel it in when I get really authentic, deep messages, I get sensations in my arms. And that started when I was doing a blessing at a big ranch in Glen Rose many years ago. And that's a wild story. I'm not going to go into that right now. But during those circumstances is when I got I caught my tail. When that happens, I know I am up to here in spiritual energy, and I have to
Yes.
pay attention. very closely. So
Yeah, it comes in your body. Things you'll do when you're like Matt was talking about, like I'm just gonna chalk it up to um luck. That was just lucky, or that was coincidence. Anybody that usually comes to me and says, "Hey, is it a coincidence?" I'm done listening. I'm
Yeah,
done.
no.
It's not a coincidence.
No.
It's synchronicity. If you get things that seem obvious to you, but nobody else is getting it, that's a big hint that your intuition's kicking in. Okay. What seems glaringly obvious and nobody else gets, you know, is your intuition. Sudden aha moments and insights. And you're like, well, where'd that come from? And I know lots of women lay at night and worry and worry. Okay, that was interesting. Um, so they lay at night and worry. And when they do, once they can get past that worry and they start relaxing, all of a sudden the answer comes in.
exactly.
That is your intuition. And you're like, oh, aha. And it's not, oh my God, I forgot to lock the door. It's, I have the answer.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Dreams coming true or having dreams that guide you, that's another sign your intuition's trying to peek through. Um, and then, like I said, if you smell something or have feelings and it's like, man, it is like 1,000 degrees and smells like cookies in here. And they look at you like, no, I don't smell any cookies.
Now, if
That's a,
it's toast, it's a stroke.
yeah.
If you smell toast and there's no toast in the toaster, it's a stroke. This is
Yes.
medically proven, but everything else counts.
We'll do what I call we'll logic ourselves out of magic. We will
I
logic
love
it
that.
away and explain away
Mhm.
everything logically. When science has proven quantum theory, science has proven that energy is substance and energy, we are all made up of it. Energy can be impacted across the world if we're connected.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
um, it's it's science. I'm just
You know,
saying.
and then we have the other side of the coin, and this is how it was explained to me by one of my teachers. They said that it's so much a part of you that it just seems boring and average, but it's very special to other people because
Here.
I didn't like the way people reacted when I was younger, when I would say or do things. You know, that they would either like go gaga over it and just overwhelm me, or they would question my sanity. And I didn't like either one of those reactions. And that made sense to me. When it's your average and it's not everybody else's average, then you do stand out in the crowd. And it can be something difficult to maneuver until you, like you said earlier, Laura, until you get through your processes and mature. So,
One of my most gifted, talented friends, Matt, you know Erica. She didn't think she was clairvoyant.
Mm.
And she had no idea how clairvoyant she was. She just thought, no. I have another friend that says, I'm not clairvoyant. But then when I go, well, you do this, 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 and list it all out, they're like, oh
oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So they quit. It's so natural to them. To your point, it's so natural to them that sometimes people don't recognize the magic in them because they think it's everybody's got it. Well, doesn't
Mhm.
everybody do that? I'm like, no, everybody doesn't.
Yeah, I was starting to ask myself, what is wrong with you? Everybody loves these damn musicals and you can't stand them. Are you just like a plebeian? Are you just, base? What is the deal? And then you explain, I'm like, oh, well, I'm special again.
Yeah.
Have you ever received messages through your dreams? Okay.
Yes.
I
Yes.
I I usually get it about people. I had someone that I hadn't thought of in years that I worked with, and he came to me, and I think he was saying goodbye. And I thought, oh Lord, I don't even want to look at the obituaries.
Did he die?
I didn't look.
Oh,
I mean, I mean, for crying out loud, it was a very emotional, happy, sad, the whole 9 yards, you
I
know.
bet that's great. I bet it felt amazing
It
to have
did. It
all
did
that.
felt amazing.
Has a different taste to it too, doesn't it?
But I felt like it was a welcoming, but it was like he was trying to tell me.
Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. We got a comment here I want to address. I'm kind of watching our Facebook. So
Well,
Michael says, I must have no intuition whatsoever. Life hits me like a dump truck quite often. What do you want to say to that, Laura?
I call bullshit.
Ah!
No,
How many times
I'm
have you
just
heard
gonna
me say
say
that?
it.
How many times have you heard me say that?
You're human. You have intuition, and you are now opening up to the idea of it that you have decided that you don't have it because it's not matching what someone else says it must look like. I guarantee you, you have intuition. I guarantee you, you have hits. I guarantee you it's there, but your idea of it is probably skewed a little bit to where you think that's not intuition. But I guarantee you, if you're human, you've got it. So I'm gonna call bullshit.
Well, I agree
Okay,
with you
and hold on a
because
second, because I want to point out something very, very important. Okay, It- you can call it bullshit, okay, but here's the proof. Michael is on the podcast right now asking that question. If he did not have some kind of inkling or some kind of intuition, he would not be there to ask that question.
Claircognizance, that knowing and that doing or hearing a voice in your head is the most unrecognized intuitive message, the way messages come in. You're just like,
Yeah.
you think you're doing it, you think you're in charge of it, but no, it's your intuition. Very good point, Matt.
well, and I can't think of an exact example right now, but Michael comments occasionally on my Facebook, and and the reason I remember this because he says things that make me think. He
Hmm.
says things, not that I'm going to say I always agree with him, but he always says things that get my little noggin go, oh, he said something else. Oh, goes, now you're talking about dreams. I've not had a dream I remember since I fell 5 floors on a construction site 45 years ago. I think it's a defense mechanism so as not to relive that accident.
It could
Very
be.
possible.
Possible,
It could be.
possible.
I don't dream all the time. Once my other senses opened up, I didn't need to dream as much.
Maybe you just
You
know,
know?
Michael, and you just don't need the dreams. I only dream when there's a major transition going on for me spiritually, where I'm either going to receive a new gift or it's going to get jumped up into a higher realm, which I'm going through right now, actually. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think I can take much more. I think my body's overwhelmed. But so
One of the so I'm sorry, just all of a sudden my guide stepped in and I kind of went into reader mode. And my impression for Michael is that it's not that you're physically dreaming. I actually believe that you're traveling. I believe that you're detaching from that which we call dreaming in order to travel and make sense of what's happening in a more energetic sense. And so your mind not might not recognize, what the dream was about or so on and so forth, but there's something there that is just a knowing. Like I said, you showed up for a purpose. You tuned in at the very, very moment of this conversation that you needed to hear exactly what you needed to hear. So there's just that knowing. I really believe that you astral project, you travel, and that's actually how you dream. That's how you get your answers and how things come to you.
yeah, but Michael, if you're still listening, why do you feel like that you get hit with a dump truck quite often? I mean, is it because my question is, do you think you should do something and then don't follow through with it, or do you just get sideswiped?
Ah,
Uh,
Because I know that when things don't go
I
good for
love
me,
that
it's because I
question.
know I should have done this and I didn't want to. Fuck it, I don't want to, you know?
So you
Or
don't listen to your intuition.
well, no, and here's the bottom line. Everyone says, Deborah's such a bitch. And so when I try to be nice and I'm going against my natural instincts is when things get cattywampus.
Yeah,
And I don't think,
you have to stay authentic.
yeah, and I say I don't think I'm a bitch. I just think I'm firm. No, I won't do that. Yes, I will do that. No, you're an idiot. You know?
I'm just gonna tell you that's what all bitches say.
Yeah. Well, I
We're very
know.
direct. We are very direct.
Okay, so fine. I'm a bitch. What's wrong with that? What's
There's
wrong with
nothing wrong with
Actually,
it. You be
Luann, I
your
remember a
authentic
comment that you
self.
made one time about Deborah. It is like is when Deborah's being nice, okay, what's wrong?
I'm usually mad. And when I am
So,
nice, I'm so mad. I'm like, if I say anything, I'm going to kill them. So I'm trying to be really nice so they can live another day, you know?
You're like, "Oh,
Well,
what's wrong with Deborah?"
her ringtone on my phone is I ain't a bitch till you make me one.
There you go.
That's
so
funny because
listen,
There you go.
mine's the alert on the warning song. Quack, quack, quack,
Boy,
quack.
I'm learning a lot today.
well, I'm going to change the subject because I want to talk a little bit about authenticity and being your authentic self, no matter where you are in our journeys. Being our authentic self is the biggest magnet to
Yeah,
intuition. Authenticity. It's the best
totally agree.
thing you can do. When you try to cover up who you are, I'm
Mhm.
not talking about growing and changing old habits. Like that can be uncomfortable. Like, drug addiction is not going to feel good while you change that habit. I'm not talking about that. But if you're covering up who you are,
Mhm.
that's going to be your biggest block to your intuition.
That makes a lot of sense because you know what? I am more like I was in high school now. I just commented today on Facebook going, I used to tell people to bite me, and then I got really eloquent with my sarcasm, and then I just went silent because I didn't want to be mean. And now I'm back to just bite me. I don't have a lot of tolerance for a bunch of crap anymore. I just don't.
So that's just your authenticity. My authenticity, I used to worry about what other people thought. I'm a worrier. And for the rest of y'all out there that are worriers, I totally get that. But you keep pushing outside that comfort zone and you keep trusting yourself. And one day you'll look up and you'll find that you stop worrying about those other people because their background. It's not even like you have to not care what they think. You're not even thinking about them because you're too busy being you.
Yeah, I don't care
Mhm.
what people think about me because you know what? I don't understand why they think about me at all. So, you know, why are they even paying attention to me? Much less why are they thinking about me? And so the only person I want thinking about me is God, and I don't want to get on his bad side. And so that's why I put up with you bitches. Okay.
Half the time, people aren't even thinking about us as much as we think they are.
No, they
No,
don't.
no. And I should be queen and I'm not, so the hell with it. So anyway.
And then what is it that they say? They say that it's none of your business what people think of you.
Yeah.
That's really their issue. So their
Yeah.
perspective, their reality, their healing journey, where they're
Mhm.
at, is going to form their opinion.
Right.
Well, I love what my grandmother used to say. She goes, people got the same clothes to change their attitude in. You know? And for years I'm like, what does
So
that mean?
I'm going to take it a step further. Yeah, the saying that I grew up with was you can get glad in the same britches you got mad in.
Yep, yep.
But I'm going to take that a step further and say, no, change them. There's
Right.
nothing like a shower and changing your clothes and to give you a fresh perspective.
No, I
I,
go
I, I
without the
do.
britches. I like to air everything out. So see, I'm a nudist
E
at
am
heart.
I, Deborah.
I'm a nudist at heart. I am. If I didn't get cold all the time, I would never wear clothes.
Deborah, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this because, wearing a kilt is very liberating for men. Just saying.
I think so too. It's liberating for women because it makes it easy for the,
Hey, hey, Deborah. Hey, this is still G-rated here.
no, it's not. But it has never been
I,
G-rated. What the fuck?
it's about expression, and everything that we've talked about today is about just being in that moment and just experiencing that moment, and I think that being able to kind of play outside the boundaries sometimes, helps us to get back into the boundaries and be able to accept who we are. If we have to take ourselves so seriously every time, we're not going to figure it out. It's
No.
never going to be there for us. We have to be gracious with ourselves to be able to mess up, you
Yes.
know? one of the most powerful things that I had to learn going through school is, you know what? I messed up. And be okay with it because it gives you a whole new way of thinking about things. Spirit is the same way. Go ahead, mess up.
I
Doesn't
only
matter.
I only think about what I'm going to say in two places: church and when I'm working at a gig. Because even with my PI clients, they know I cuss like a sailor. My coaching clients, they all know I cuss like a sailor. In fact, the rule of the slogan for my coaching clients is, "What the hell would Deborah say?" You know, we need a little bracelet that says that or something. But I try not
Oh,
to cuss at gigs, and I try not to cuss in church, and I've been pretty good with that. So
well, what's my saying about when I get inspiration from Deborah? What's that? What's that saying?
I don't know. What is it?
Fuck you, Deborah.
Yeah. He does.
Because it hits. And when it hits, sometimes it hurts, but I feel it, you know? And so when I know when I'm saying fuck you, Deborah, that means thank you. I got that and I
You
got it in
should
a deep way.
clarify that more because sometimes people think you're mad at me.
No, not at all. Oh my
He
gosh.
says that when you've hit it straight on the head, that's when he says it.
Yes.
I know that, but
Yeah.
sometimes people hear that. I'm like, oh, that bitch is finally getting her comeuppance. All right, I think we are almost done. You know what, Laura? We should just maybe make you a regular part of the show once a month or something. What do you think
I
about
had
that?
so much fun. I have a blast with you guys.
You'll
Well,
notice that she actually came with an outline, which kept us in check.
yeah, well, Luann, that's supposed to be your job. You were supposed to be doing that shit. What happened?
We talked about it. So hey, she was the one that brought the receipts. So
Oh my God, it's like herding cats, though. But she got us back on point. Yeah, we should have you more often.
I can
So
do that.
make that happen, Matthew. Make that happen.
You got it. You got it.
It would be my pleasure and honor.
Oh, wait a minute. One more quick thing. Michael posted again. And that's another thing. I never read the comments when we're live. And all of a sudden I'm reading. So Michael says, I don't know, but recently fell and broke my hip. My son suffered a collapsed lung. Just before that happened, failed marriage probably burns me out the most. Matt developing NS, my sister dying from undiagnosed illness that we fought for and I can't see this. I'm assuming 5 years because I can't see the rest of it. So my question to him that he's answering is, why do you feel like you're sideswiped? Well, let me just say this, Michael. I've had to finally accept, because I had many mental health professionals tell me over the years, because of the contact and things, that I have lived a very tragic life. And that just pissed me off every time I heard it. So what I have accepted is that I've had a lot of tragedy in my life, but it's made me into the person that I am, because who knows what kind of bitch I'd been without it, you know? So I don't know what this,
And those dump truck things that he's all listed out
yeah.
are not anything his intuition is going to prevent. His intuition is going to help him navigate through it.
Right.
It's to
That's an
navigate.
excellent
It's
point.
to not stop bad things from happening.
Well, and what I
Life
was going to
happens.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is that people that have things like that, the reason I was talking about my tragedy is that my experience has been in relationships to other people, is that I have found that people that go through a lot of tragedy, they are specifically strong in their gifts. And these things are, because of my belief system, again, these things are meant to distract them from paying attention to their gifts.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Agree.
All right. So, Laura, wonderful having you. Always a joy. I just want to crawl on your lap and hug you, and I don't hug. So that tells you a lot. And but let me make this point, and Matthew makes this point all the time, and so let me make it for a change. We are the perfect example today of different belief systems joining together as one in agreement and cohesion and support and authenticity and transparency and agreement. So maybe we're setting an example for somebody out there. So tell them how to find you, Laura.
I'm at lauraslightinsight.com. And in March, I've got some clairvoyance classes coming up, some
Here in Dallas or in
build your
Lufkin?
intuition.
Here in
Pardon?
Dallas or Lufkin?
They're going to be online.
Oh, cool.
They're
Cool. I'd
online
like to know
classes,
more
so you
about
can
that.
be anywhere.
So bring her back at least a week before her classes start, please, Matthew. Okay. So we can talk about that. All right.
Yep.
All right. Let me make a real quick announcement. The week of March 17th, that Monday, I will not be here. So you and Luann will have to carry on without me and do whatever you do. I will be on a cruise. My first one ever. I said I would never go, but I'm taking my granddaughter because I'm a sucker for my granddaughter.
Oh, it's
It's
going to
gonna
be
be
awesome.
awesome.
I'm looking forward to spending time with her. That's what I'm looking forward to. But okay, so this is how my PI business has affected my mentality. So they have a teen room on the cruise where the teens go, but adults aren't allowed. But I also know what teen boys can do. So I have bought all these silicone covers for her drinks that fit really tight. And you can put a straw through there because I don't want her getting roofied. And she's like, oh, my. But she's going to use those damn things. So
Bring some extra for her friends.
I brought eight. So, and all different colors. They're fun looking, so. All right, Luann, tell them how to find you, baby doll.
Email me, Luann, Luann, and ancientherbalapothecary.com.
Cool. You, Dr. Pierce.
You can reach me at www.matthewapierce.com or matthew@matthewapierce.com.
And so Dr. Pierce and I have not cohabitated. That's not the right word. Collaborated. Damn. English is not my first language. We have collaborated on a book that should be coming out in the next week or two about event planning because we want you event planners to be able to know what you don't know that you need to know. So be looking forward to that, getting that published. And I am Deborah Colleen Rose, and just go to Deborah Colleen Rose and find me, whatever. So, and I was on TV last week too, and I did a great job. So I'm patting myself on the back. So anyway, we will see y'all again next week. And this is the happy hour at the Spiritual Neighborhood. See y'all next week.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.